Everybody, we are back on the Foul Ball Podcast presented by the Foul Ball Podcast. You got it. So, we are doing things a little bit differently. We are recording this episode about the Patriots in a horse barn. Talk about New Englandy. Yes, recording this episode in a horse barn. And so, recap on the Patriots. Talking about where to start, there is no easy way to start, so might as well just get right into it. But before we begin, everything related to us is located at our website, foulballpodcast.org. Again, everything related to us is located at foulballpodcast.org. And so, without further ado, let's talk about another tough Patriots season in the books. And why I say that is because the Patriots just finished up their season up in Buffalo with a loss, a 35-23 loss. And this was the game where they needed to win in order to get into the playoffs, and they lost it. They ruined it. So there were two games that they needed to win in order to get in, and they blew it. So last week, I was over at the Miami Patriots game over in Gillette Stadium in Foxborough, Massachusetts, and they won that game by a needle and a thread. And so hopeful and excitement, like hope was there, right? And that's what I'm trying to say. Is the fact that everything was setting the stage for us to guarantee a wild card spot into the playoffs. And so Miami lost against us, which was good. And so we all knew that heading to Buffalo was going to be a tough moment. And then the Cincinnati and Bills game, we all know what happened with that, with DeMar getting injured on the field, and then DeMar was just making a normal football play, and all of a sudden laid down the field and never got back up. He went to the hospital and went to basically a severe moment, right? But the good thing now is obviously he's doing a lot better. Obviously, still not playing yet, but got a lot better. Is now in full recovery in the hospital over in Cincinnati, and did a lot of group calls, group FaceTimes with the Bills, a lot of his friends, a lot of the folks he works with, and is now getting better. Obviously, it's still a long route ahead for him, but obviously all the prayers are with him and his family. And so, going into today's game, obviously the players and coaching staff and basically the whole medical crew side of things and the Bills staff, they're going through a lot. So they had a lot on their minds on the forefront of everything. And so now, that could have been a point for the Patriots to help the Bills in this scenario, right? Because obviously the Patriots were thinking about the whole situation along with the rest of the National Football League and the rest of the team organizations. And so this was a moment for the Patriots where ever since Josh Allen has started, before today's game, Josh Allen was 4-1 against the Patriots. And this was the moment where the Patriots could have capitalized and said, hey, we know we can win this game, so let's go out and win this game in Buffalo against Buffalo. And obviously we couldn't do it. The defense couldn't stop Buffalo in key moments. There were a lot of major throws that Josh Allen made. And oh my goodness, like courtesy to him for making such massive throws downfield. The receivers catching them, one of them being from Stephon Diggs. I feel like Stephon Diggs is just absolutely unstoppable. There are moments when he can stop him, but overall, if you look at his catching percentages and everything, he's just unbeatable. And then there were a lot of other players in the Bills staff that we couldn't stop the pass game. We couldn't stop the rush game. And then on the offensive side, we couldn't stop anything. We couldn't do anything. So in terms of stopping, the offensive line couldn't stop the pass rushers from getting inside the pocket and getting Mac Jones. And therefore, Mac Jones can't do anything. And then doing anything really, we couldn't really. We had a couple runs here and there, but not as many as we wanted. We couldn't get really any passing things going. And so, literally, again, I feel like this is the whole story of the season, right? Is that nothing could get going. Nothing. And so that's why we finished the season 8-9. That's why we lost ourselves a playoff spot. When, at halftime during today's game, both teams were tied 14-14. I mean, the first half wasn't really that bad. It was really the second half where we just fell apart. Literally fell apart. And I feel like that's been another story this season, is the fact that the Patriots have been a one-half team, where one half goes horribly wrong and another half goes extremely well. And I feel like a lot of times this season, the first half has gone more on the wrong side, and the second half has gone extremely well, but a lot of games we've come up just short. And a lot of this mumbo jumbo could have been extremely different. A lot of these conversations could have been very different if games like against Dallas and Oakland ended in a different scenario. And so it's never one game. I feel like within the NFL, it's never one game, it's never one player. It's a collective effort between every single game, from basically training in the summer till now, right? And so during the preseason workouts, during the preseason games, and then all the way up through the regular season, starting in September until this very exact moment, everything adds up. And for the Patriots, nothing added up, right? We expected this season to be a season where things just finally went right for the first time in a while, and nothing did. And I know for a lot of Patriots recaps that we've done, the big question is Matt Patricia. What's going to happen with him? And so I know we've said this before, but it's important to reiterate the fact that Matt Patricia is not an offensive guy. And we saw that firsthand this season. Bob Kraft knew that. Bill Belichick knew that. And literally every single person in New England knows that. He's not an offensive coach. Nor has he been an offensive coach. The only time he's probably dealt with the offense is when he was the head coach in Detroit. And look how his time went in Detroit. Couldn't do anything and got fired. So now look where he is. Controlled some of the offensive, well, all the offensive side of things in New England, and nothing happened, number one. And Mac Jones got frustrated with him, number two. And number three, had some of the worst percentages in the NFL, and probably, dare I say it, the worst percentages in Patriots history. And so now, here we are. I mean, in terms of playoff hopes, we have to have a few teams lose and all these other things, which is unlikely to happen. So that's why I'm saying now our playoff hopes are destroyed in terms of the wild card. And granted this, if we got into the wild card game, we wouldn't have made it anyway. So that's just me saying it right there. Things need to change. I mean, we have good players. I will admit that. I mean, with the good players we have working together, something can happen. Something very good can happen. Now it's just a matter of getting the right leadership in the right places and making those things happen. So now I think it's important that Matt Patricia, A, either goes back to the defense and does really well, or B, gets just fired completely and does the job that he got his degree in originally. Okay, I'm going to say this again right now. Matt Patricia went to college to get his degree in aeronautical engineering. So, like I said, A, goes back to defense, does really well. B, gets fired completely. And then a sub point of B goes to get a job in some kind of aeronautical engineering organization, whatever, and does that job and succeeds there. Those are the options I'm giving. Those, I think, are the only options that the Patriots have in the moment. And Bill Belichick needs to figure that out now rather than later, at least before this upcoming season starts. And so, tough season for the Patriots with a record of 8-9. This is going to be the 5th time that Bill Belichick does not make the playoffs since he's been a coach. And yeah, that's the thick of it. I mean, there's not really much more we can say about that in the moment. That's all we have planned for today. So Patriots lose 35-23 against the Buffalo Bills. As a recap, questions regarding the leadership of the Patriots from here on out. And lastly, everything related to us is found at the website that we have, which is foulballpodcast.org. And until next time, we will cover the rest of the playoffs and the Super Bowl. So until we catch you next time, we'll see you later.